Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie, and if you are new to my channel, hey, welcome. I hope you'll consider subscribing, and if you are back, welcome back. Today I am here with a WIP and Chat, or a WIP and Chat, which I'll explain that joke in just a minute. But feel free to whip out your WIP and work alongside me while I catch up with you a bit. On the past week, or really the past couple of weeks, because I didn't do a WIP and Chat last week. I'll explain why in a minute. But I'm going to be working on a diamond painting and just talking your ear off a little bit. Feel free to diamond paint alongside me or do some holiday decorating or what have you. Whatever makes you happy, I'm good with. So let me give you a really quick rundown of what I'm going to be working with this evening. So the diamond painting that I'm working on is Snow Queen. This is by Sarah Mustafa, and it's from Diamond Art Club. There's a few different diamond painting kits named Snow Queen from Diamond Art Club. So this is specifically the Sarah Mustafa one. And it qualifies for 3 different events that are going on here in the month of December. The first is Jingle Drills, which is hosted by Lindsay at Emeralds and Fairy Lights, and Winter with DAC, which is hosted by Rachel Ray Crafts and Wolfpack Diamond Painting. And then it also qualifies for Diamonds and Disney, which is hosted by Christiane Hare, who has a YouTube channel, and by Kyle Diamond Paints over on Instagram. So actually, most of those folks have YouTube channels. I think Kyle's just on Instagram. But I will link to all of the announcement videos below. I encourage you to go and take a look. Events can be really fun to participate in. Even if you're like me and you're not entering for prizes, you just want to join in on the community aspect. So yay! And I just happen to have a kit that qualified for all 3 that I was in the mood to work on. Pen wise, I'm pulling out this pen that I think I got last year. This is from Diamond Pen Pal. I like that it has the snowflakes in it, and it's just perfect for this particular kit. This pen doesn't match color wise, but this was one that Emma gave me for my birthday, and I actually have not used it yet. How gorgeous this is. I love it. This is from, I believe the shop name is Lucky Resin Works. I will double check on that. I'll link to all of the small shops for all these things below, by the way. And the tray is from Munimade. I don't remember the colorway on this one. The minder is from Stitchy Little Things on Etsy, and then the scented putty, which I'll be using in my multi-placers, from Miranda's Crafty Corner. And the wax I'll be using in my single placer is Not Your Mama's Mud from the Whimsical Daisy shop on Etsy. So I'm also challenging myself tonight after watching Christiane's video on how she multi-places with a 15 placer. I was like, and I feel like I did this recently, but I'm determined to do it again anyway. I decided to pull out my everlasting tips that I have, and this is the largest one I have. It's, I don't know if it's a 7 or an 8 placer. Let me see. This is a thin metal 10 placer. You can actually see the width difference in these, by the way. Though this has some leftover putty on the inside, so it looks thinner than it actually is. The Everlasting Tips is wider. Like, actually, this is a really good example. So you know how the plastic tips, the plastic multi-placers, some are wider, like this one, and some are skinnier, like this one. It's like exactly the same thing with these. So like the Everlasting Tips multi-placer is like as wide as the wide plastic multi-placers. And the skinnies, which I get these on like AliExpress or Amazon, are like the same width as the skinny plastic multi-placers. So I've gotten used to using these, but I watched Christiane like flying on working with her Everlasting Tips 15 placer. I was like, I'm gonna try this again. Like, I just want to see, like, maybe I can try to get the hang of it again. We'll see if hopefully I don't give up like partway in, but we're gonna try. So let me get my pens loaded up. I feel like someone asked me recently. Oh, there's a metal single tip here. This is a all-in-one. I don't know what brand this is from. I have to double check, but that looks like a stainless steel all-in-one tip as well. So I guess we're just gonna be trying all kinds of new things today. Okay. So hi, how are you guys doing today? I'm gonna load up my pens really quick, which this came up recently. Someone was asking about loading putty, I think, and someone was like, watch the beginning of one of Katie's WIP and Chats, because she always shows it, and I do try to do that. Ooh, that's gonna pop that. Yep. Why does this always happen? That's one of the reasons that I'm hesitant to use these sometimes, is because they are notoriously difficult for me anyway. I think that there's probably a user error going on here. I have a really difficult time loading any kind of wax into these. I feel like it just slides right out. Oh, look, that tip just slid right out. Yeah, that doesn't want to go in there. We're not going to edit this out because I'm keeping it real here, you guys. I'm going to try one more time on the Not Your Mama's Mud, and then I might have to do it with the pink wax because I know that I can get like a really clean cut on that, and it's harder to get a clean cut on the Not Your... Oh, look! It heard me talking. Okay. We'll see if that's enough. What if I try scraping it? Oh, nope, that just popped it right out. Arg. That's so frustrating. What if I tried to use tweezers to scoop some out? You guys, you're getting the... Katie really doesn't know what she's doing part of this video. I know some of you are screeching at me, watching me being like, Katie, you're doing this the hard way. What can I say? All right, we're gonna try that. I have plenty of like the plastic tips, so if this one just isn't working for me, that doesn't mean that this pen is toast for me. It just means that I'm gonna switch out to like a regular plastic tip. Heck, I could like pop this one out if I really wanted to, but then this pen would be losing it. It's okay, I have extras elsewhere. Okay, now let's do putty. Bear with me. Let me talk to you while I'm doing this though. So last week I took off from doing a WIP and Chat because honestly I felt like I had been talking your ears off enough with the countdown lives. If you happen to miss it, they're still up. You can watch the replay. I did a countdown live late on Thursday night going into midnight of Friday. A countdown live for the early release, like the diamond tier release from Diamond Art Club. And I got to do that with Lindsay and Jacqueline, and that was so much fun. One of my favorite parts about it, and one of the things that I was joking about, like kind of in-joking about earlier when I was like, it's a WIP and Chat, is because I kicked off this whole debate about which way do you say the acronym for Diamond Art Club? Do you say it DAC or do you say DAC? And I was just like, I don't understand people who say DAC. Like, I think it sounds weird. And poor Jacqueline, like, because she says it this way. And I was like, Jacqueline, the first time I heard you say it, because we've been friends for, going on 3 years now. I was like, the first time I heard you say that, I had to, like, do a double take and be like, wait, what? What did she just do? And she was like, really? Okay, is that going to be, that'll be snug enough in there, I think. All right, you guys. Let's see how we can do this. Anyway, so DAC is how I say it. Diamond Art Club was in the chat, and they made a comment in the chat. They're like, if we get to say, then like we're gonna say, I don't need that. We're gonna say it's DAC. And then they put up a poll in the VIP group on Monday. I think it was Monday, and they're like, all right, y'all, this came up in the countdown live. How do you guys say this? And it was like 72% said DAC, 22% said, 70-something percent said DAC, 22% said DAC, and then some people had gone in and added like random options. And I was like, that's not what this was for, but that's fine. That's fine. People are going to do what they're going to do. It was just funny. So anyway, you can't see all my accessories. We're just gonna roll with it. So that was really highly entertaining to me that they actually put up a poll. I was very, very entertained by that. So yeah, DAC was the winner. But now the joke, like, because then it just kind of spawned some fun, like, arguments. I say arguments very lightly about, like, well, you say DAC, like, do you say WIP? You say, no, you say WIP. And I was like, that's, I mean, yes, but I feel like it's a little bit different. They're like, no, like, it was funny. So anyway, it was highly entertaining. But because I was talking at you guys, and honestly, because I was so tired, I was like, I'm not going to do a WIP and Chat this week. I'm pretty wiped out at this point, and I don't think you guys will miss it too much. So, but I did miss talking to you guys in that kind of context, because it's always fun to catch up this way. So Yeah, but yeah, let's talk about Black Friday for a second. Has anyone recovered? Because I feel like I'm still recovering from Black Friday. I did lots of shopping, and not just like Diamond Art Club. I tried to shop a variety of different small shops and stuff like that. I finally tried out a new, I know this is not a slime channel, it's a diamond painting channel, but I did try out a new slime shop that Lindsay had told me was her favorite when she went through a slime phase. And I was like, okay, well, I will try this one. And it's called Slime Obsidian. And I actually, like, I'm really, really, really happy with the slime that I got. I feel so silly. Okay, it's hard to adjust with the all-in-one tip, I feel like, because it's just wide. It's kind of like wide set. But anyway, I'm excited that I had that. I ordered from, I'm not going to try to name all the shops I ordered from because, well, for one, I don't need that reminder, that shame in my life. No, I'm afraid I'll forget some because I just am extremely forgetful in general. So that makes it fun for like when the packages arrive and I'm like, oh, I forgot what I ordered. It's like Christmas. The jury is out on these everlasting tips, these wider tips. I feel like I have to do a lot of adjusting. I'm sure that if I had just a little bit of a learning curve, I bet I could get faster at it, but I'm used to my skinny tips. So yeah, Black Friday was tons of fun. I did some damage with Diamond Art Club. I'm waiting on those kits, which I'm not surprised that I'm waiting on those kits, and I'm certainly not going to go hopping over and asking about it because I'm just like, they told us, it was in the email and stuff. I wish that I had those kits in hand, but at the same time I'm like, I got plenty in my stash. It's fine. It'll give me more time to de-stash, which I have managed to do a little bit of de-stashing, thank goodness. See, you don't go there. I was really indecisive though, you guys. I have to tell you, I was very indecisive when I finished up the kit before this one, and it was like the last day of November, which that was my Daughter of the Sea King, my princess panel from Mandy Manzano Diamond Art Club. I finished that on the last day of November, and then I was like, okay, what do I want to work on next? And I am obnoxiously indecisive. I kept going through like, okay, I'd like to work on maybe a little bit smaller kit. It'd be nice if it had round drills because I just did a really large kit with square drills. And then I was like, well, I know that there are these kits that I really want to make sure I work on this holiday season, but like I'm not totally like in the Christmassy mood yet. So I don't really want to work on like something that's got a Christmas tree in it. Like I'm not that ready for the holidays, but I don't have an infinite amount of time. So I was just kind of scrolling through my gems flow. I bounced some ideas off of friends. Then I was like, I changed my mind. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm being really obnoxious. Like, I wanted your input, but also like, no, I was always going to arbitrarily change my mind and put new requirements on like what I wanted from a kit. I did know that I wanted to support some of my like friends that were doing events. And I knew that it would align with some of the kits that I wanted to work on anyway. I can't always join in on events just because sometimes I just am really, really in the mood to like work on different kits or something like that. But I didn't I didn't participate in any events in November. And I was like, I have 3 different good friends that are hosting events in December. Like, I'd love to show support by joining in on those. So, when this one happened to meet most of my special criteria, even though this kit wasn't even totally on my radar to work on this year, it just kind of felt right. And I was really happy with it as soon as I started working on the first row because there are oodles and oodles and oodles of white ABs in her dress. It is so pretty. I immediately sent a picture over to Kate and was like, oh my gosh, I did not realize there were so many ABs in this dress. Kate was my co-host on Monday for the Countdown to Cyber Monday live. And she's an artist herself. She had a kit release for Cyber Monday, which was really fun. It was a cute little mermaid kit. I'm like, can Diamond Art Club lift the max so that I can buy like a bunch of these? But she's also the head of the rendering team at Diamond Art Club. And so I was like, oh my gosh, all the ABs in this are amazing. Thank you. There's tons of ABs in this kit in general, but especially in the dress. So it's been really fun to work on, and it's definitely worked up quickly. So let's see, today's Sunday. I'm actually on the last row of this kit, and I will finish it tomorrow. I don't think I'll quite finish it tonight unless I stay up really late, but that's not going to happen because I have to get up early tomorrow to take my car to the dealer for some repairs that my trusty mechanic is unable to do. I am so sad about it. Honestly, I haven't had to take my car like to a dealer for work since there was like a recall on a part forever ago. But I am always like, no, like your friendly neighborhood mechanic that's trustworthy and reliable and you know isn't gonna like try to scam you out of more money or stuff. Like if you can find one of those, like they're worth their weight in gold. And I love ours. We've been going to the same mechanic for like 12, 13 years. Since we moved out here. And when they told me, they're like, yeah, we don't like, this is something that you're gonna have to take it like to the Toyota dealer. Because they're like, it's not showing up on our machines. Like this is like apparently like a really specific specialized thing. They're like, you have to take it to the dealer. But I literally said to them, I was like, look, honestly, and look, you guys here listening to my WIP and Chat, if you work for a car dealership, this is no shade to you at all. This is just coming purely from what my actual experience has been. Maybe I just had a couple of bad run-ins, but I just said to our mechanic, I was like, look, my primary association with car dealerships is that they just want to get as much of your money as possible out of repairs. And so I was like, do you have one you'd recommend that we go with, like to give us the best shot at feeling like we're not getting taken advantage of, especially me, like as a, 30-something, like white chick that doesn't really know cars. I feel like I'm prime target to get taken advantage of because I wouldn't know any better. And so they basically told me, like, don't go to this place. They're sketchy, but this one, they're like, we tend to refer people to. I was like, okay, perfect. So anyway, we have the appointment to take my car in tomorrow. And it's like really early. We have to drop it off. And I'm just like, well, if I have to get up that early, I cannot get away with staying up as late tonight as I have been lately. So yeah. I was saying like if I stayed up really late tonight, I could hypothetically finish this kit, I think. Depends a little bit on how much confetti is in these last few sections. But no, I think I'll finish it tomorrow. I'm not totally sure what's going to be next. Maybe I'll give some love to my cross-stitch conversion, but we're about to be going out of town for the rescheduled film premiere that we were supposed to go to a few weeks back, and that's happening instead this week. And so it's like, if I'm going to be flying out on Wednesday and not diamond painting for a few days, like maybe I don't necessarily really want to kick off a brand new project, because then it'll be like, I start it and then I leave. I go out of town for a few days. So I'm thinking maybe I'll work on like some of those Paint Gem mini kits. You guys will see an unboxing this week. I filmed ahead a little bit for a while I'm out of town, but you'll see an unboxing for a couple of the Paint Gem mini sets, including the Christmas set. And so maybe I'll take that one with me, and if I need something to work on Tuesday around like packing and stuff, maybe I can work on that one. So we'll see. But I love those little Paint Gem mini sets. They're so cute. And yeah, so we'll see what I'm in the mood to work on then when we get back. There's a couple of kits I'd like to work on that aren't necessarily holiday related, but I wanted to work on to support like some small shops. And so that's on my radar. But then I do have a couple of kits that are ones that I absolutely want to work on this holiday season that I didn't get to last year. So we shall see. I am very fickle. Very, very, very fickle. So how about you guys? What are you working on? Any specific holiday related kits? I'm not even specifying Christmas, because I know people celebrate a variety of different holidays or don't celebrate any holidays at all. And I know some people, it's like not even winter where you are right now. So I'm not making any assumptions. Yeah, so we're going into the month of December. and well, it is December now, actually. And I said as much a little bit in like my recap, my monthly recap for the month of November. I was like, November just kind of flew by. It was kind of a draining month for me emotionally. And I feel like I didn't get a lot of crafting time done in general. And all of a sudden, before I knew it, it was December. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's December now. So I still feel like December is like, I hope it's going to be a little less hectic, but I don't know how likely that is. Just with the holidays, and I haven't really started like a ton of shopping in general, and I'd like to get on top of that. I haven't honestly felt super in the holiday spirit this year, as far as like I haven't had like the itch to put up the tree yet and stuff, but I would like to do that very soon, especially for the sake of the kiddos, because I want to enjoy it and stuff like that. But I don't know, ever since 2020, I just have struggled to get excited about like season changes. I used to do a lot of seasonal decor and enjoy like switching stuff out seasonally, and I don't find as much joy in that anymore. I don't totally know why. I mean, I deal with anxiety and depression, so probably some of that, but I don't know, maybe it's just one of those things that it kind of shifted. It used to be almost like a hobby of mine, as far as being something that I really enjoyed doing. Like I love just going to Home Goods or TJ Maxx or whatever, Target, and picking out like a little bit of like holiday seasonal stuff each year. And I don't know, it's just kind of like, I've got a lot of just my basic decor in my house pretty well like the way that I like it. And it's a lot to change out seasonal decor. So I don't know, you guys. But I do want to get the tree up, of course. Maybe part of it is because we just don't have a ton of space. So like putting the tree up, it's like, well, that's going to take up a lot of space over there. But yeah, we'll do that. I booked our flights over Black Friday weekend we're flying back to Ohio over a long weekend in January rather than going back at Christmas. And there was actually a really good sale on flights. And so I got to take advantage of that on Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So I'm looking forward to that. And oops, got stuck. I feel like I'm I'm getting there a little bit with this wider multi-placer. It's working out okay, but then I keep putting my putty in the glue. Hold on. We're also dealing with, and maybe this is the other thing that kind of takes it out of me, we're also like still in the cycle of dealing with sick kiddos. It never stops. And like there's always the mom guilt over that. I know I talked about it in my last WIP and Chat because the kids were sick. But we're just kind of cycling through that. I actually gave one of the kids a you-know-what test tonight. It was negative, but I just was like, I just have this feeling. It might have been too early, honestly, but I was like, I have to try. So we're keeping one kid home from school tomorrow, and the other we're sending, and I just am like, I just want healthy kiddos. We're doing a lot of things to try to make sure we're giving them the best chance at staying healthy, but yeah. But it's exhausting because when they're home during the day, when they're sick, it's a lot more out of me. Because of course it is. I'm their mom. I'm gonna take care of them and stuff. But they're home from school. I'm worried the school is gonna get upset. We're gonna get like letters about attendance and stuff like that. Because we've already gotten one of those. I'm gonna be like, I would love to hear you tell me what you think I should be doing differently. So I'm just kind of waiting for that now because we're like actually entering 6th season. So. Lots of hand washing, all the, vitamins and preventatives and all the things. But yeah, so anyway, as far as what's coming up, it's just going to be a lot of that. So I basically am now trying to like take advantage when I can and film ahead as much as possible because it's like, well, I can't count on having my, like, during the day while the kids are in school anymore, because more often than not, I've got at least one kid home, it feels like. And even if they're in school, like, I have other things that I need to be getting done in the mornings, like grabbing groceries, and if there's any other kinds of errands that need to be happening. Adam and I were both feeling very, like, productive early last week, and we were like, okay, let's knock out some of these phone calls. And that's when I, like, called to get my car scheduled to get looked at, which has honestly needed to happen for a while, but it hasn't been like an emergency issue, so I just kept putting it off. I do not recommend this, actually, but I was like, I called and made that appointment. I called the speech therapist. I had to leave a message, and they didn't call me back. I called them on Thursday. They didn't call me back, so I'm going to call back again tomorrow. But I called the speech therapist to see about getting our youngest scheduled for an eval to get him started in private speech therapy. And we're just going to pay out of pocket. It needs to happen. So, but I finally made that happen as well. So it's like we're trying to get our ducks in a row here and all of that. So that's why, you know, it's like if I do have a free morning with no kids home sick, then I'm trying to take care of stuff. Take care of stuff. So, yeah, so that's what's happening. I thought I'd take this kind of second half of the WIP and Chat, and I've been meaning to do this tag for a while, and I kept being like, well, no, I need to catch up because I just do like a normal WIP and Chat because I was gone, you know, this week. And then I realized, I'm like, this tag happened, like, he put out this tag like a month and a half ago at this point. And then I listened to Rachel Ray do it on her WIP and Chat. She was like, I'm sorry, this is late. Which, to be honest, I actually haven't finished listening to her WIP and Chat where she answers these questions. But anyway, Anthony at Single and Placing put out this set of tag questions after, I think he was on Shay's live back in October, and his questions were really, really good. Like, he had some questions that he asked Shay, and they were really good questions, and everyone was like, you should do a tag with these questions and challenge, like, diamond painting people, like creators or whoever, to answer these questions, because it would be so interesting to see. And so I know that he's, like, talking about doing like some premieres and stuff with creators, and I have the feeling that some of these questions will be ones that he'll ask. So if he's watching this, Anthony, like, don't be mad if you're like, dang, I was going to ask these questions. Still ask them, because who knows, my answers may change. But anyway, I'll link to the video where he put up these tag questions, and go check him out, listen to his content if he's your jam, which he probably will be, because he's super chill and relaxing to listen to, and just an all-around really sweet person. Subscribe to his channel if you like what he's doing. So anyway, this is the I love the name of it. It's the DP duck tag. It was named after this, like, adorable diamond painted duck that he had in the live with Shay. So they were like, put duck in the name of your tag. So I really liked these questions a lot. So I'm glad that Rachel did this in her WIP and Chat last week and reminded me, like, hey, go do this thing. So there's 5 questions. And so the first one is, what does diamond painting bring to your life / how does this craft and community impact you day to day? Starting right off the bat with a deeper question. I like it. What does diamond painting bring to my life? Well, it's no secret if you've been around for a little while that I talk very transparently about, like, mental health and that sort of thing, and about how, for me, diamond painting just became a really wonderful way for me to, I don't know, it helps with my anxiety, and by extension, like, diamond painting helped me discover this I don't know, interest, passion, skill, something that I have in having, like, a YouTube channel that has let me have and discover, like, a bit of an identity outside of being, like, a mom, because a whole heck of a lot of my life revolves around being a mom. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I feel really, really, really darn lucky or blessed that I have been able to do what I've done with having a channel and stuff like that. And that it's it's given me this like, I don't know, this medium to engage with like other adults and to do something that isn't just like being a mom and trying to get a small child to eat food that isn't sweets and trying to go through like the struggles and the challenges, but also like, yes, the amazing parts of being a parent to kids with special needs. Like, it just has been such a blessing. And so it impacts my life like on a larger scale. And it does impact my life day to day. Like, second part of the question was like, how does this craft and community impact you day to day? Well, I'm talking to the friends that I made and am still making in the community like every day. Like, I'm always checking in on socials and checking in on my channel, and I'm always diamond painting. Like, it's very unusual if I go a day without diamond painting. If I do, it's because I'm traveling, or I'm really sick, or the kids are really sick or something. But I diamond paint virtually every day, and it just feels like it's just part of, I don't know, how I regulate, how I decompress, especially at the end of the day after my kids go to bed and stuff like that. So yeah, the craft and the community have just sort of become a very like a regular like staple of my day. So lots of ways. And the community is a wonderful place. Of course, like every community is going to have like, there'll be areas of friction and whatnot, but I think you can just try to really focus on surrounding yourself with people that are life-giving to you, and that you really are building one another up, and people that just make you a better person and like challenge you in good ways and stuff like that. So, and I feel like on the whole, this community, I feel like we do that for each other and are generally like supportive of one another as well. So that was question number 1. Question number 2, what styles of diamond painting or artwork do you like most? I.e. artists, themes, eras, that sort of thing. Before all of you shout at the screen, dragons, yes. but I was just talking with some friends earlier and saying like, it's funny, like now that it's like companies have realized that dragons are popular, now there's more options of dragon artwork getting licensed as diamond paintings, and now I get to afford to be picky. Where I'm like, okay, now I'm not just like literally any dragon I will go for. I've been like, oh no, there's lots being licensed. Like, I can actually decide like and just go for the ones that are actually my style, that appeal to me. I'm never ever gonna be grumpy at anyone. Like, this happens sometimes, and I will always just be like, oh, that's so nice that like you thought of me. I'll never be grumpy at anyone that's like, Katie, look, dragons. Even if it's like something that's completely not my personal taste, I'll just be like, oh yes, thank you for thinking of me. I do love dragons, you're right. There's a perfectly nice way to handle that. But yes, a lot of like high fantasy and dragons tends to be the things that appeal to me. But a lot of it is like tone, I guess. I enjoy like soft, muted tones often. I just like things that are pretty. I do really enjoy portraits. I have a lot of like portrait style kits in my stash. And like some people are like, why do we have so many like pictures in the polls or whatever, so many like options that are just like pictures of people? And I'd be like, because that's, companies are gonna put out what sells well. But also I'm like, I'll take all the portraits. It's definitely a niche for me. I did discover an appreciation and love for some old masters artwork through hosting Summer with the Masters, which it's fun to be responding to this question and mentioning the old masters, because Anthony, I feel like, has turned into a major connoisseur of like the old masters in general. Like he's doing some really interesting series in partnership. He like collabing with Robin at Distracted by Diamonds, which is really fun. But my taste in the old masters tends to be a little bit more like things that are just, I don't know, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like popular, I guess, like commonly popular artists like John William Waterhouse and Muka. Though I did have to like scale back a little bit because a bunch of shops released art like the giant Muka panels, and I was like, I want all of them, but I know that I cannot complete all of them, and so I felt bad. I was like, I hope this isn't my fault that all these shops released a bunch of Muka, because I can't buy and do all of them. But who knows what new artists and stuff I'll discover, you know, if and when Summer with the Masters 2023 happens. But like, that's a genre that I've gotten an appreciation for sure. And then, yeah, just like soft colors. I can tell you easily what things I don't gravitate towards. Like I've discovered, for example, that I am very much not a landscape person. And cityscape person. Those just, I burn out on those too easily, and I am definitely in a place now where I am feeling burnt out way too easily on large diamond paintings, even though that was a thing that I like kind of sort of like became known for, like doing these really, really large diamond paintings. But like I loved working on that Daughter of the Sea King panel a lot. I truly soaked up and enjoyed like every second of it, but I definitely, when I was coming to the end of it, I was like, yeah, I still am feeling like a little bit of that large kit fatigue. Whereas like this kit that I'm working on now is just like, it's like 51 by 61. I'm like, this is what my my head and heart need right now, is like more like this range of kit. And so I was incredibly picky, especially over Black Friday sales. There were certain kits that I liked. I didn't necessarily like love them, but like the deciding factor on whether or not I got them was the size. It was like if it was over that 50 by 70-ish mark and I wasn't obsessed with the artwork, I didn't buy it, because I was like, I'm deliberately destashing about like most of my really large kits, except for the ones that I truly love. Like I'm not going to turn around and buy more right now. So, I mean, that can always change. I feel like your styles can always change. And this came up, I don't remember when, it doesn't matter, but it came up where, I was talking about how one of the reasons I'm destashing and was able to be like really, kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like really brutal about it, like really cutthroat about what I was going to get rid of, is because like I'm looking at a stash that some of it's kits that I bought 2.5 years ago, and my style has evolved and changed. There are things that appeal to me, especially when it was like, I'm going to buy any dragon kit that comes out because I love dragons, and it's not like there's a huge selection right now. Again, this is 2 years ago. And now that's just not the case anymore. It's like, well, then now that there is so much that is totally my taste, I can go ahead and offload these ones that were like, oh, I settled for this. Not that the artwork isn't beautiful or that I wouldn't enjoy working on it, but it's like, well, I think this one is just my personal taste just a little bit more. I'm always afraid of like, I don't want it to come off like I'm insulting any artists or shops. Like, it's just me. I'm so fickle and my tastes change, and yeah, so but yeah, I've tried to be a landscape person and I'm not. I don't really do dark art. Like that's not typically my jam. There's probably some rare exceptions, but in part because the colors aren't as enjoyable to work on. Sometimes the subject matter, it just sends my mind to like a weird place, and so it's not what I gravitate towards. Cutesy stuff, yes. Not really like the big-eyed girls that I know are really popular with a lot of people, but you know, more standard like pretty portraits, like watercolor, soft vibes, muted tones. That's one of the buzzwords. Those kinds of things. That's what I reach for. So, Question number 3 is a 2-part question, 3A and 3B. Okay. 3A is, where do you see yourself in the diamond painting community in the future, short to long term? Oh man, I don't want to be like have a cop-out answer to this question, but like I don't know if I can answer this question, because I don't think that I would have ever been able to like look at where I am now and be like, yeah, I think I'm going to be there. I just didn't, never, ever. I think where I see myself is hopefully just continuing to enjoy like the craft and doing so like alongside people that I enjoy crafting alongside and creating alongside. I like to hope that I'll still have a channel, like if it's still bringing me joy and it's working for my family and you guys are still enjoying it, then I like to think and hope that I'll still have a channel. I don't know what I'll be doing at that point, what I may have, shifted towards doing content-wise, but I don't know. I feel like diamond painting as a hobby is very much here to stay for me. Like I've definitely had those more like passing special interest hobbies. It's like I get super into the thing and I have lots of fun buying all the supplies for the thing and reading about the thing and researching the thing. And then I do the thing for like 5 days and I'm over it. And diamond painting just doesn't feel like that to me. Is it sprinkling outside? I think it is. This is very unusual because I live in Southern California and it just doesn't really rain here. So like, am I hearing water falling from the sky outside? Anyway, yeah, I hope that I'll still have friends here. And I hope that like my content will still be like helpful and enjoyable and that sort of thing. And I hope that I'll still, I don't know, have a good head on my shoulders about it all. So yeah, short term if we're talking like the next 3 to 6 months, like, I don't know, I have ideas, things that sound fun to do like in the new year and stuff. You're coming up on the end of the year. I feel like it's really normal to kind of like reflect and evaluate and go like, oh, I wonder like what might I want to do differently. I won't call it a New Year's resolution because I feel like that just is like a curse. It's to say like, I'm going to set a New Year's resolution. No, I'm just going to be like, let me reflect a little bit. Is there anything I want to do differently? Well, I kind of already done that a little bit, playing around with doing new thumbnail formats and having some fun with that, just to see like, would this be more interesting to people and that sort of thing. Because I don't want to get totally stagnant, but yeah. So, and then long term, I'm not even going to try to guess because I don't know. I just am like, as long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing, that's what I want to focus on. So, 3B, the second part of this question. What impact do you feel that you've had or hope you've had in the diamond painting community? I hope that I've just made people feel less alone. I hope that, especially like, just from what some of you guys have shared before, I think that maybe it helps sometimes that I talk really transparently about mental health and parenting kiddos with special needs and being a self-diagnosed autistic adult and that sort of thing. I feel like hopefully just by trying to be very open and very genuine and by being vulnerable, that hopefully that makes you feel less alone. And I mean, on a really like basic level, I hope that, I don't know, I guess that like my tutorials and stuff have been helpful, but I care a lot more just about how people, like I care more about people's like hearts than something like that. So yeah, I guess that's what I would hope, is that in a world that can feel really lonely, that I've helped someone feel validated, feel seen, feel loved, feel less isolated. That's my hope. That's my hope. That's something that'll always be a really core, important thing for me, for sure. Question 4. What's the biggest piece of advice you can give to a new diamond painter and or content creator in the community? We'll start with diamond painter. To a new diamond painter, don't compare yourself to others. Actually, that could actually be advice for both new diamond painters and new content creators. New diamond painters, though, don't worry about like how fast other people are diamond painting, or like, oh, these people have all these different like accessories and stuff, and okay, I need to have all those things. Just take your time to figure out like what you enjoy. Like try out a new thing, 1 or 2 new things at a time, figure out if that's your jam, and if not, try something else. New diamond painters, I would encourage you to, as much as it sounds like a huge buzzkill, to look into and just be aware of the importance of like licensed artwork and art theft, and like the impact that has on artists, because that's a really common thing that new diamond painters, including myself when I was new to diamond painting, I did what all of us do, which is I went to Amazon and typed in diamond painting and then like a subject like in an area that I was interested in, which at the time was like I was all about all Disney, and I think that's probably what a lot of people do. Go to Amazon, Disney diamond painting, and just grab something. I didn't learn until later about like licensed artwork and this, that, and the other thing. So there's that tip as well. And yeah, don't go too crazy. We're not in like the diamond painting drought that we were in 2020, where it was like, oh my gosh, if a kit comes into stock that is like even remotely your taste, you got to jump on it because nothing's in stock. Even accessories, there's so many like different accessory shops now, like so much more than there was back then and stuff. It's like, just take your time. You don't have to like have all the things, buy all the things, get a huge stash. Like, buy a diamond painting kit. It's going to come with a toolkit that's going to have everything you need. Yeah. And don't worry about like speed. Just whatever you need to like then enjoy the craft. And find join the Instagram diamond painting community. There's Facebook groups if Facebook's your thing more than Instagram is. There's YouTube, which maybe some of you are like, no other social media, just YouTube. That works too. And then advice for new creators. I don't know. I feel like it's super presumptuous of me to do this because I'm kind of like, I don't make the rules. I'm not the gatekeeper. But general advice, okay, so that sounds a lot less like me telling you what to do. Like you're gonna not necessarily get along with everyone. That's okay. You can still find your place here. I recommend, as much as you can, trying to get a little bit of a thick skin, because I'm telling you what, people on the internet behind a screen will say some awful things. You'll get like the mean comments, and it's kind of like it's a badge of honor in a way when you get your first one. But as much as you can let it roll off, I always suggest like if like once you've responded to something or once you say something, like it's out there forever. So like as much as you can, like take a breath. Like it's a lot of times I feel like it can be better to leave something unsaid and like sit on it overnight or something like that. But it's hard to do that when like emotions are running high. But yeah, like try to find your people, but yeah, try to find your own voice as well. I think it's totally, understandable that like, especially if you're starting out a channel after like watching other people, that you might want to like emulate those people. But I definitely recommend, like, one of the best ways that you can kind of find your footing and stuff and kind of make a name for yourself is, I think, more just trying to find your own rhythm, your own vibe. as opposed to just trying to be like a total carbon copy of any one particular person. But yeah, just focus on you. Like, don't worry so much about what other people are doing. Like, focus on you and just focus on making good content. Like, focus on the long play the long game. Don't try to like get subscribers. Like, don't get so focused on like, I just want to get subscribers as quickly as possible and get that number up. If you focus on like putting out good content, that I think that will come naturally. Not always, because sometimes the algorithm is rude or other stuff like that. But I just feel like long term that is maybe a good recipe for success. Is don't try to like shortcut it, because time always tells with people's, character and content and stuff. So anyway, I guess I did get a little preachy. Ugh. Sorry if I scared some of you guys off. You can call me pretentious. It's fine. Question number 5. This is good timing because we're kind of coming up on the hour mark. Anyway, question number 5. If you had to pick one diamond painting kit to do over and over forever, what would it be and why? This is a tough one. Well, I just finished my 100th diamond painting. So if I looked back kind of at my log book and we're like, okay, if I was looking at like the 100 diamond paintings I've completed, is there one of these that I would do over and over again? One of the ones that does come to mind, if you've been around for a while, I'm trying to think. I feel like I can hear Len guessing this one like right away because she's been around for a while, and I feel like she knows this one about me. And maybe I'm sure some of you other like lurkers and stuff do too. But probably Dawn from Distracted by Diamonds, which is no longer made because the artist Geneva Bowers doesn't, at least at the moment, doesn't license her artwork anymore to any diamond painting companies, sadly enough, because of it being stolen, like her seeing it being stolen, is my understanding. I don't 100% know that for sure. I feel like I had heard that from someone who had talked to her back when this happened, and she's just like, I'm not licensing to anyone anymore. I adore her artwork, and it is a shame, and I'm like, this is one of the many reasons I'm angry about art theft, is because that's like, well, now we just get to not enjoy this artist's work, and it was stolen. Like, it's how awful that must feel like as an artist. But anyway, this piece, Dawn, I completed, was that in my first year of diamond painting? And even out of all 100 diamond paintings that I've completed, remains one of the most beautiful kits and one of the most wonderful experiences that I've had working on a kit before. That kit was perfection. That is one of the earlier post reviews that I did on my channel. So if I want to like bring myself down a notch, I'll go rewatch that post review sometime because my early channel videos just make me cringe. I have so much secondhand embarrassment for myself, but no, I adored that kit, and I love the colors in it. There's lots of really pretty pale pastels. It's Distracted by Diamonds. They make a really high quality kit, even back then, like, and they've made lots of improvements since, and it's incredibly beautiful artwork. It's just gorgeous. It's rendered to perfection, and that would maybe be one of my top completed diamond paintings of all time, and that might be the one. If I had to do a diamond painting over and over and over again forever, it would be that. So what I want to know about this one is like, this question is like, does that mean I literally cannot work on any other diamond paintings? It's just this one till the end of time? I think that's what it's implying. I'm sure I would eventually get tired of it, but I don't know. That kit was magical. If I remember, I'll link to that post review and you guys can go have fun. Ooh, this is fresh putty, and so the AB's, it's sticking. It's sticking. I don't know, you guys. I'm like, even looking in the camera and looking in person, I don't really feel like my placement, it's not as I don't know. Look at how sparkly that is. Oh my gosh. It's not quite as like perfect as I like to have my placement. I feel like it's harder to maintain like the same level of like precision with these wider everlasting tips. Like I'll probably go back in and correct after I finish the WIP and Chat and try to kind of like straighten things out. And I feel like the wider everlasting tip makes it difficult to place when you're filling in. I bet that this would be really difficult with squares. I feel like since rounds are a little bit bigger, I don't know, like and there's more space there. I'll have to try the everlasting tip again with squares, but I don't know if it's for me, you guys. The way that I multi-place, where I kind of hold my pen at an angle so that I can see better and be more precise, it just doesn't work as well. But what do you guys think? Are you everlasting tips fans? I don't know. So that was the DP duck tag. Thanks, Anthony, for putting those questions together. I think those are really good questions. And I'll give them more thought if you're going to ask them in like the series you were talking about doing next year. But if you guys are interested in answering these, I don't have anyone specific to tag to do these. I would just say, like, if it's gotten to this point and you haven't had the chance to do them yourself and you have a channel or whatever, feel free to answer them or answer them in the comments. Let me know in the comments. I'll link to Anthony's video where he put out this challenge, and if you look in the description of that video, you'll see the tag questions, and so you can answer them yourself if you like. I guess I could just restate them really quick in case you don't want to go scrolling. You just want to like pause and answer. Okay, so question number 1 was, what does diamond painting bring to your life / how does this craft and community impact you day to day? Question number 2 was, what styles of diamond painting or artwork do you like the most, i.e. artists, themes, eras? 3A was, where do you see yourself in the diamond painting community in the future, short to long term? And 3B was, what impact do you feel that you've had or hope you've had in the diamond painting community? 4 was, what's the biggest piece of advice you can give to a new diamond painter and or content creator in the community? And then question 5 was, if you had to pick one diamond painting kit to do over and over again, what would it be and why? So thanks again, Anthony, Single and Placing, for putting together those tag questions. That was fun. I'll link to them below. Like I said, go subscribe and check out his content and stuff like that. And yeah, so anyway, I've been chatting your ear off for an hour now. We almost finished the section. I'm gonna let you guys go, but if you made it all the way to the end of the video, how about you put up a snowflake emoji? And as far as what's coming this week, I will be out of town for a few days, but I have pre-recorded some videos. There is quite possibly a delay on because of the mail and other shipping issues outside of my control. I may or may not have a sneak peek this week. We'll see if that arrives on time. But like I said, I have some other content filmed just so that you guys aren't left totally hanging. But thanks for hanging out with me in my WIP and Chat. Let me know how you are. Feel free to answer the tag questions either in the comments or if you have a channel, I'm tagging you. Go do it in your next WIP and Chat or other kind of video. So I hope you guys have a really wonderful start to your week. Like I said, if you made it all the way to the end, leave a snowflake emoji, especially so I can say hi to my lurkers. And yeah, if you made it all the way to the end also and are not already subscribed, you would probably enjoy it here. So you can hit the subscribe button. Please do hit the subscribe button down there, and there's a bell you can hit to be notified when I share new videos. Thanks, my friends. Have a wonderful rest of your day and week, and I'll chat with you in the next one. Bye.